All right. Well, welcome, everybody. We are at the top of the hour, so we'll get this kicked off. I appreciate you joining me today for how to earn 10K plus in revenue each and every month. The each and every month is the bolded in red part because that's really the more important part. The dollar amount, which is flashy, is great, but really we can set that at whatever makes sense for our business. If it's 5, 10, 50, 100K, whatever the number that we want to aim for, we want it to be dependable. We want to be able to set our standards, set our goals to reach those numbers and make it consistent. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So think of the 10K as a placeholder. I've had the opportunity to present versions of this material for the last few weeks and have got some really amazing feedback as well as questions of how we can put this into play. So we're going to talk a lot about that today. And things that we are going to talk about is that consistent outcome without just saying, hey, we're going to work more, work harder. That doesn't do it. That's not what we're talking about. We're going to look for insights on how we can gain or regain control of our schedules, our calendars, and perhaps even spending less time working in our business as opposed to working on our business, which I've noticed is kind of a buzzword today that people are talking about, taking a step back, working on our business. So that sounds great, but you need to know how to do it. So we're going to hit on all those things today. First thing I like to start off with is this slide. Real estate for me is a love-hate thing. I love the opportunities that real estate has provided me. A lot of the great things that I've done is because I've worked in real estate for almost 20 years now, worn a lot of different hats and seen a lot of cool things. What I hate is, and as we're seeing it now, the market has such a stronghold on how our businesses perform, or many of our colleagues' businesses perform. So you're probably seeing that in your business or people that you work with, that when the market is up, business is good. When the market is down, business is bad. At the level of inventory, the level of interest rates, that has a direct correlation on our business. And to some degree, yes. But what we are looking to focus on today is setting up, coordinating, and cultivating businesses that are not at the mercy of the market. The market is not going to dictate your level of success. It's not going to limit what you can do. It will have perhaps a say in how you do those things, what your core clients are looking for and where you're finding those core clients, what you're doing, but it will not limit your business. That's what we're talking about. I hate that. I hate that the market is so directly correlated to many businesses of real estate professionals. And too many people throw their hands up and say, well, market's down, my business will be bad. That kind of approach, that mindset is only going to doom us. So we want to get away from that. So how today works. As you see, today's confidential and private. Any questions or comments, hand raised, this comes directly to me. I do my best to check it. I'm self-admittedly really terrible at that. So I will check in. I will answer all questions, ideally as they come in, but certainly before we sign off. This is being recorded. This will be shared out. Again, no one who asks any questions or anybody who sends anything to me gets identified, so no worries there. And the Q&A enabled directly to me. So anything you want to ask, please send in. I'll do my best to check it. Everything remains confidential and private, and the recording will be sent out afterward. Outcomes for today. I have moved financial to the top because each time I present it, that's the question that I get. I want to make more money. I want my business to be more profitable. How can I do those things? So we're going to focus on dependable income, predictable outcomes each and every month. It's that financial freedom piece that I know if I do X, I can expect this from my business, either this quarter, this month, this pay period, whatever it is, we're focusing on a month here. Same with time and location, that we want to be able to control our calendars, work when we want, identify our core clients, and work where we want, work where they are. So that's what we are going to be focusing on today. And so what does that mean? You might hear things like, although I work all the time and harder than I ever have, I don't make a consistent paycheck. So I want that to go away, that you know that by putting in certain inputs, by doing certain activities, meeting with a certain number of clients, going on a certain number of listing appointments, you can expect this level of client, this level of monthly revenue, monthly commission, quarterly commission, whatever you want to kind of measure that with. What we're not saying is that you're going to earn necessarily the same amount of money each month. You might be in a market that might be a second home. So summer might be a big time, or you might see that it is hit by extreme weather in certain areas. So other times of the year are busier for you, and that's okay. But you're going to plan accordingly, that if June, July, and August are your busiest months, you're going to plan for that. So you know, again, that there'll be that consistent outcome as opposed to just doing your best. I'm going to be busy these 3 months. I'm going to try to do my best. And then the rest of the year, who knows? We want to plan it out in a way that we know that we put into our business, we can see a great return on what we're putting in. Other things. I'm always working, have no control of my schedule. How many of us have set up a business, myself included, where you're about to sit down at dinner, you're about to go hang out with your kid, you want to go on a date, watch TV, just want to turn your phone off, and that text comes in, that email comes in. It's like, I need to check it. It's that new client I just signed, or it's that lead who could be a client, or it's this person who's asked me about their brother who might be interested in buying a home next year, so I probably should take it. And sometimes that's okay. And for each business, you need to make that decision. But it's about identifying those boundaries and communicating those expectations with your leads, your clients, your prospects. Because if you don't, they're going to expect at 10 p.m. for you to answer that phone call, at 6:30 a.m. for you to be available to them. If you do not set clear and defined expectations about what the communication is going to look like, what proactivity is going to look like, who's communicating with whom, and what the expectations are. When you identify that as part of your engagement with your core clients, you will see that you have much greater control of your calendar, and you will be able to work, again, when you want with those core clients, and you'll be working in a way that works for both of you, that it's not just going to be, I'm going to be available 24/7. While that works for some, I do not recommend it. And if that is what you want your business model to look like, please continue. But we're going to talk about strategies and tactics today that'll help you move away from that. Same with we talk, market determines the success of my business. We want to move away from market good, business good. We want our business to be good regardless of the market, that we are smart enough, flexible enough, and provide enough expertise that we can flourish in any market. So 3 questions I want you to ask today. What business problem that you currently have can you solve from information we are talking about today? At least one thing that you can solve. Ideally, there'll be multiple, but think about something in your business that you haven't been able to figure out, that you haven't really thought about, or some roadblock, some obstacle that's keeping you from your goals, whether it's monthly revenue, whether it's number of clients that you've worked with, whether it's a combination of those things. What can you solve from the information we have today? Keep asking that. And if it's not clear, message me direct and say, hey, this is my problem. What can I do to apply the information talked about? Who is this for? This was a workshop that was created with real estate agents who run their own teams, their own practice in mind. That's what the idea was. I am blown away that each week I hear from small business owners, team leaders, managers who say, hey, I was able to apply some of these concepts to the people that I work with, and it's really helpful. So ideally and initially, real estate professionals, but I've been being told that people in all different areas, corporate included, entrepreneurs, are getting value from this. So I hope that's the case. So when you get this recording, feel free to share it out with anybody who might use it, who might benefit from it. And why am I presenting this workshop? Well, I'll go into a little bit about my background, but I've had, again, the ability to do a few different things in real estate, and it's prepared me to be in the position I am today, as well as I've made tons of mistakes. So I've learned a lot of these things, unfortunately, firsthand, but I was able to learn from them, solve those problems, and put in better solutions. So I kind of fell into real estate 20 years ago myself. My first job offer out of college was like, no problem. I was doing surveys for property managers and property owners. So we would my company would put together trend reporting each quarter for the entire United States, and I believe at some point internationally. My market was the southeastern part of the US. So generally kind people, but I had no idea what I was talking about. So I would call them and I would ask them about their property. They'd realize, A, I didn't know what I was talking about. I really wasn't all that excited. And they would either hang up on me, tell me to go somewhere that I didn't want to go, or, very briefly and curtly answer my questions. So I quickly learned that I needed to know what I was talking about. I needed to provide something of value to them for them to talk to me. And that I was actually, I wasn't selling them anything. I was in a problem solving business because, problem is generally a bad word. They had better things to do than talk to me on the phone. And they had things that in their life that they needed solved. So by me having conversations all day with people in and around their market, I could have a valuable dialogue with them about things that they may not know, may not have access to. I'm not talking about corporate secrets or anything that I couldn't disclose, but just activity in the market. It's like, hey, yeah, I talked to John. He's developing that hotel across town. Did you hear they're actually on schedule? They're going to open this September. No, I didn't know that. Thank you for telling me that. Or, I know the vacancy rate in the town is generally hovering at 10%, but I talked to Jim and he's actually at 100% booked, and he's been that way because he's running this program. Have you thought about something like that for your apartment complex? So it was the ability to have a mutually beneficial conversation, because although I wasn't selling anything, I could give them information, help them solve problems, or put new solutions into place. So that mindset that we are all professional problem solvers, and not just problems of, what am I going to have for dinner tonight, or how can this stop? These are what I heard recently described as Monday morning problems. These are problems that you think about for 2 days over the weekend, or that, when you get to your desk, the first thing that you need to solve for your business to move forward. From there, I've had many corporate, legal roles within real estate, outside of real estate. And the thing that has kind of moved me forward in all of them is the idea of continuous improvement. I give my best. I do my best every single day with the idea that there is always room to grow, always room to get better, always room to improve, whether it's becoming more effective or becoming more efficient, or both. So today I view myself very entrepreneurially, where I run a business. There's multiple prongs to that business. I'm a real estate attorney here in Massachusetts. I help buyers and sellers close on property, mostly in the residential sector. That goes from offer to close. I work with them on contracts, work with them at the closing table. So anything from beginning to end. I'm also a broker associate with eXp Realty, and my baby, AccomplishedRE, is my own coaching and consulting business, help real estate agents with strategy that really helps them perform at a better level. We look at what their business currently is doing. Again, where can they become more effective? Where can they become more efficient? And truthfully, what we do is we look to get them in front of more leads, more clients, give them more control of their schedule, and remove the things they don't want, the headaches, the stress, and solve those problems. That's what I see over and over again. And that's why I love working one-on-one with my clients, because we can put a lot of what we talk about today into practice, into their specific business, and make it work for them. The way that I've been able to do these things is cultivating and leveraging multiple revenue sources, multiple revenue streams through different phases of my business. So some people think here, it's like, well, that's great. You're an attorney, you do other things. No wonder why. I can't do that overnight. How is this going to help me? I'm not asking anybody to become anything they're not, go back to school or anything like that. I know that you're not going to do that. We're going to talk about ways that you can cultivate different revenue streams within your current real estate business tomorrow that will help you fight against a sagging market, a market that's going to continue to evolve, change, shift, whatever word you want to use, because if you keep doing the same thing, you're going to keep getting the same results. You need to be in a position to identify what the strengths of your business are and do that more often. You really want to simplify the things that you do well and then do them at a higher frequency. Figure the things that are not working, figure the things that are not giving you the results you want, and either eliminate them, minimize them, or update them, improve them. That's what we're going to be talking about. So goals for today, we hit on it. It's going to be time, location, and financial freedom, getting that consistent paycheck at the end of each and every month, working with the core clients that we want to work with, identifying who they are, and then working when we want within the geographic metros we want to do, or we want to be in. We talked about market proofing. We've talked about increasing profitability. Ideally, it's getting off of that transaction treadmill where you go from deal to deal to deal. You get a client, you service the client, client closes, you back to trying to get a new client. It's all about generating leads, converting leads, and fulfilling those clients at all times. That's the Michael Gerber principle. If you can't do all three of those things, anything we talk about today will not be beneficial to you. So you need to have a business that puts all three of those things at top priority. The clients I work with, three things they want: one of three, two of three, all of them from their business. They want to grow, they want to scale, or they want to exit, take it removed from their business. So we're going to talk about how the strategies and tactics we're going to talk about today can be applied to any of those. We need to look at our business as greater than any market. It's not just, again, market good, business good. We need to also look at our real estate careers, as a practice, as a business. It's not just a job. We are each a profitable business, whether we're a sole agent, whether part of a team, part of a brokerage, whatever that is, you are your own profitable business. I'm not saying be a lone wolf. I'm not saying work against your team, but you need to identify yourself as not just another cog in the machine, that you are a profitable business, no matter what piece of that team brokerage that you are a business. You're an entrepreneur, and you're going to do the things that you can to get to a better outcome each and every month. You're going to improve your business each and every day. That's where the improve and never stop comes in. And as we talk about any of these things, think about where you want to be 1 year from now and work backwards. Here's where I want to be. How can I get there? Take 1, 2, 3 concepts that we talk about and apply it to your business immediately. Test it, break it, see what works, see what doesn't work. If you tried multiple things, it doesn't work, reach out to me and we'll see where we can make improvements, what I could have explained better for you to implement into your business. So 3 quick stories here. Now, these are stories that I've come across from delivering this workshop, from working with my clients, from doing my own research, running my own things that come up that really illustrate some of the things that we're going to talk about. Quickly, the first is the QWERTY keyboard. So anybody watching this on a laptop, on your phone, your iPad, look at the keyboard and the letters across the top, QWERTY. And the reason that most people think that the keys are laid out the way they are is for efficiency in typing, help us type faster. And that is actually not the case at all. I recently heard this and it blew my mind that the keys are laid out the way they are because when the keyboard was invented, it was attached to a thing called a typewriter. So people on this call, like, what the hell is a typewriter? It's the first thing people used to type. And there was big clunky keys with large ribbons attached to the bottom. So the keys are laid out this way because the way that people struck those keys, the ribbons could get caught if they struck certain keys back to back, which those of us old enough, which I am myself, using a typewriter, knew that was very frustrating. So the keys are laid out this way so to minimize the number of times the ribbons would get caught. As typewriters became word processors, PCs, laptops, so forth, obviously the need to have this keyboard laid out this way became non-extinct. There's no reason for the keyboard to have the keys in this manner. But many different people have provided solutions that not even, different keyboards, it's not even a question that they are a way to type faster, better for, your wrist, for getting things done, no question about it. But we continually have this keyboard because change is hard. People don't want to change the keyboard, even though there's no reason to have the keys laid out the way they are. This is how they learn to type. This is what they grew up with. This is what they're most accustomed to, most comfortable with. So people don't, have shot down every attempt at changing the keyboard. So keep that in mind. As we're talking about changing or doing things a little different, change can be hard. And the first sign of, I don't want to do this, I don't want to learn this, I don't have time for this. It's not because the thing is not better that you're trying to do, it's because it can be difficult. So be okay with that heavy lift up front. The $10,000 consultant, this is from Focal Point, Brian Tracy book, excellent. Most of the stuff he does is excellent. But the story here is that there is a power plant that was running about 20% capacity. And they had hundreds of systems in the plant that could have been limiting the level they were running at. So they did not know which of those systems was broken. So in their testing, they tested each one one at a time. It was very slow, and they didn't have the knowledge in-house to figure out which system it was. And if they did, it would take them many days to figure out, and they were losing millions of dollars per day. So they reached out to the number one consultant in this area, had him come in and figure out what system it was. So they paint the story where this guy gets on a plane, shows up there, puts his white lab coat on, goes in the building, 15 minutes or so, reviews some of the systems, takes some sticky notes out of his pocket, makes a big X on the sticky note, sticks it on one of the systems, says, this is the one. If you fix what's wrong with this system, you'll be back at 100%. They do that afternoon, back at 100%. Consultant flies back to his office. Next day, sends a bill out to the guy who's running the power plant for $10,000. The guy thinks, wow, that's a lot of money. You did solve our problem. We aren't losing millions of dollars anymore, but $10,000 for 20 minutes of work does seem like a lot. Sends an email back, hey, can you itemize your bill so I can get this paid? He says, sure. Oh, and he said, can you itemize? Because all you really did was put an X on a sticky note, and that's all you were here for 20 minutes. So $10,000 is steep. So the consultant says, sure. A couple minutes later, responds back, says, drawing an X on a sticky note, $1. Knowing which system to place that X on, $9,999. So that story illustrates two things that I want you to walk away with today, if nothing else. One, we can't be in the mindset where we just change time for money, that I work 20 minutes, I should get X. That it's not time, it's ideas, it's value, it's expertise that we are delivering to our clients. So even if it's only one showing, or even if the property was on the market for only 2 days, we are providing expertise that they can get nowhere else. The value to them that is unsurpassed, that the ideas that we have, the expertise provide, the value they provide cannot be matched, is unparalleled. And that's what they come to work with us for. So that's what that story illustrates. Lastly, this one's quick. I heard this one this week. It's sort of morbid, but it kind of ties in because, you tell people it's like, don't exchange time for money. Think about it as value expertise. Well, that's easy. Well, that's easy for you to say, but that's really hard in practice. It is, but it starts with a mindset. And I purposely don't coach around mindset or things like that because, one, it's not my expertise. Two, there's a lot of great stuff out there on being more positive, having a mindset. The freezer car story is about a gentleman in the Oklahoma City area who worked on a train who accidentally got himself locked in a freezer car overnight. And as time went on, he lost control of What he could do, he couldn't, he was shivering, very cold because he was in a freezer car. So as the night wore on, he wrote into the ice on the car saying, getting colder, cannot move, not going to make it. And unfortunately, this is a very sad story. In the morning, he woke up and when someone found, he was banging on the door, resigned to not getting out. When he was found the next day, he was no longer alive. And the reason that this story is of note, or the only reason I'm telling, is not because of its morbidity, but because the freezer on the freezer car had actually been turned off, and it was cold, but it never dipped below 49 degrees in that freezer car at night. And while 49 degrees is certainly low, it is not enough to cause any, it's not below freezing. And most people have endured 49 degrees. There's certainly be negative outcomes, but death should not have been one of them. And the reason was because he convinced himself that he was in a freezer car well below zero, and that his body could not make it through. So the only takeaway there is how strong the mind is, that although the physical conditions should not have had such a strong impact on him, that though the actual physical conditions coupled with his mindset did lead to very dire consequences. So we need to change what we think about, how we think about it, and how we approach situations we find ourselves in. Speaking of approach and expectations, in general, I like to talk in terms of strategy and logistics. I've added a lot more tactics to this workshop so people can run with a lot of what we're talking about, as well as high-level strategy, goal setting, long-term thinking. As you can see, low production value, but I believe the information is really of high value. That's why it's presented this way. I want it as accessible to anybody who wants it, so feel free to share this video out. We talk about a way that you need to customize what we're talking about. There's not just one way or the way to do things. The one size fits all works for no one. Take this information and mold it for you and your business. Because of things like circumstances. You might duplicate exactly the way somebody else did something, and it might have worked for them, but it might have worked for them because of their certain circumstances at the time. The timing might have been better, their market may have been better, they might have had a larger sphere of influence. They might have had more resources. Whatever it is, their circumstances are always going to be different to your specific circumstances. You need to tailor it to you. So follow, I'm not saying start from scratch. Take other people's blueprints, take what's worked for them, and make it work for you and your business. Same with systems. I realize nobody likes talking systems and process, but that's the foundation of a lot of what we're talking about. Being able to quickly replicate what has worked before, and then to make it unique to or specific to your clients that you're working with. A couple of quotes here. I'm going to just jump by this as we're behind time so far. AccomplishedRE, I said, this is my coaching and consulting business. I work one-on-one with real estate agents toward that time, location, and financial freedom in their business, getting them more of what they want, getting more clients, more leads, get those goals achieved faster by removing the obstacles that are keeping them there today. So putting in place strategy, putting in place business principles that help them remove the things that are keeping them from reaching the number of clients they want, the monthly income that they are looking to earn, and in general, having this successful, profitable business that they have set out to do. The genesis of the business, I'm going to use what a 5-step problem-solving kind of framework or strategy that you can apply for anytime you've got a problem or issue in your business to illustrate how this came about. So the situation that I saw way too much of as an attorney at a closing table with a client, I would hear how difficult the transaction could be. I was selling my house, I was buying my house, both buyers and sellers. And this was the hardest part of my, this was a very difficult transaction. I didn't think of this, it was going to be this difficult. I wasn't sure we were going to get to the finish line. Communication wasn't as proactive as I would have liked. It was really stressful for me and my family. And they're almost in tears. And I kept seeing this over and over. And then I would talk to the agent later in the day or as I left the room, and they would say, my clients love me. They always will refer me. They'll come back and do business with me because their experience is awesome. And that's what I want to do, is provide excellent client experience. And I'm thinking to myself, like, you have no idea what this person just said to me in there, that they had a terrible client experience and they will never work with you again. So where is this disconnect coming from? And the reason for it is the way that the business is set up, that as a real estate agent, you only get paid as a real estate professional, you only get paid when something closes. So your natural instinct is that when I've got a client who's signed an offer, signed a purchase and sale, they're moving toward closing, I got to go get another client. And without realizing it, it's very easy to feel like you're turning your back on that client as they still have much of the transaction to go, and they're not familiar. They're working with you for your expertise, for your communication. They're not getting that anymore. And it's that the business is set up in a way that's Well, it's not set up in a way for you to fail. It's set up in a way for you to ignore a client who's reached that level. So you need to, keep that front and center if any of this is going to work. So we talk with our clients about having the target of exceptional client experience every single time. That is the basis of all of these things, that if you outperform what your clients' expectations are, you are going to see more referrals, more repeat business, and you are going to become a easily referred commodity in that core client group. So that's what we want, to put everybody on the same page there, that if you say you want to deliver exceptional client experience, talk to your clients, figure out what they want and give it to them each and every time. Have systems in place for a baseline, and then put in specific practices that work for each and every one of your clients. Because if different geographies, different price points, different buyers, sellers, for example, they're going to want different things. You need to know which strings to pull, which levers, similar to the different income streams. You're going to need to know, have a standard for all of the things that you do. This is, I do with every client, but this is what I do with this specific bucket of clients. So that's the solution we put into place, that we have a system in place for all of our engagements, all of our clients. And then when there is a certain client that we're working with that we know they need XYZ, that we've got this communication structure in place, we're setting expectations up front, we're meeting them each and every time so they have that exceptional client experience. The aftermath is that they cannot stop talking about the exceptional work that you did. They want to refer you, they're going to introduce you, and it leads to warm leads and future business. So that's the 5 steps for solving a problem. I know I went through those kind of quickly, but I'll hit them at the end as well. So in starting AccomplishedRE, there were 5 values that were non-negotiable for me. And in every one of the clients I work with, these must be present, or else I don't take the business and it doesn't work, because this is what I've deemed to be the foundation of my business. This is my values, my 5 values. 1, collaboration. It's important for us to work together. I don't care whose name goes on anything. I don't care who gets credit. I'm not a overly competitive person when it comes to stuff like that. So a true sense of collaboration. Same with accountability, that if I say I'm going to do something, it gets done. And if we've set a deadline for 12 o'clock tomorrow, it's not going to happen. I'll tell you well before then why and what we're going to do instead. Same with drive. I push myself every day to be my best and deliver excellence. That includes being my best every day, but again, with that mindset that there's always a way to get better, always a way to make things more effective or efficient. I've got trust last and highlighted here because it's a piece of all of these things, that you can't just say, trust me, or we work well and we trust each other. That it needs to be developed. It needs to be something that is cultivated over time. You need to be credible. You need to be accountable, and you need to keep showing up and keep doing the things that you say you're going to do, and do it better than the expectation. Is kind of what we talked about for the client experience piece. So these 5 things are present in all of my engagements. I suggest strongly that if you do not have core values or things that you find your business on, or you found your business on, and that you want in each and every one of your engagement buyers and sellers, write them down. If you have fewer than 3, sometimes it's not enough to have a full picture, and any more than 6 gets difficult to consider them core value. You can have many more, but these are your core. When I sit down for a deep dive into anyone's business, whether I'm working with them as an attorney client or helping them sell their home, I want to make sure that these 5 values are front and center. They might have others, but if they have any that are counter to these, it usually doesn't work, and we'll kind of stop right there. So those are the 5 values that are fundamental to my business. These next couple slides are new for today, because a lot of the feedback I got was, these strategies are awesome, I can put them into my business, but I'm not going to see results right away. What can I do to get more clients right now so I can have that monthly revenue now for what I'm looking for? So we've got 12 different strategies, tactics that you can put into your business today to start seeing results. And I'm going to go over each one high level. You've probably heard all of them, because a lot of the stuff you can find on YouTube, you can find online. Your brokerage might be teaching you. But this is the way that you need to figure out, what tactics can I put into place? What can I do to get more leads, to turn those leads to prospects, and ideally into clients? So first, I call the reconnect plan. This is one of the strongest ones where everybody should start. Everybody has what they call a sphere, a first degree connection, whatever you want to call it. But we usually, without putting a focus on it, don't do a really good job of staying in touch, communicating what we do, communicating what value might be available and how we can work with them. So connect or reconnect with everybody in that first degree circle. You might be 3 people, might be 300, might be 3,000, whatever it is, list them out, put together a marketing and prospecting plan to reach that entire population, because nobody is more likely to work with you than people you've worked with, people people that you know, like, and trust. That's the ladder you're working up there. Start with the people that you know. So all first degree, connect or reconnect with everybody. Come up with a plan to, we'll go over 3 steps of way to do that, but that's who you should target first. Next is the promise. And again, I can go over any of these in more detail if you'd like. Just message me and I'm happy to do that. Is around working with, if you have a listing, it involves making a promise to the seller. It's like, I will not stop until I speak to every potential buyer in this zip code about your property. And then you go in and you talk to everybody in the zip code. And that's the basis of your conversation. If you call them and say, hey, I'm listing 123 Main Street, click. But if you say, I'm listing 123 Main Street, and I made a promise to that seller that I would speak to every homeowner in this zip code, in this neighborhood, in this town, whatever it is, and until we found the right buyer for their home. Now they're disarmed. Well, I'm not interested in buying it, but you know, my cousin's looking. You should give him a call. And actually, I'm considering selling my home. Can you come take a look at it next week? Way to open the door. Same with drive for dollars type thing. Whenever you're out in an appointment, whenever you're out in your neighbor, whenever you're out, take note of what's going on and make phone calls to those people in the neighborhood saying, I saw this is happening. Are you aware of this? Having a reason for the conversation as opposed to, are you interested in buying and selling? That's not going to get you very far. Same with 5x5, 3x5. This is just number of contacts a day. 5x5 is just reaching 5 new people into your CRM every day, 5 days a week. 3x5, this is 15 contacts a day, groups by 3, 5 people you know, 5 people you don't know, 5 people that you're following up with each and every day. You start having this cadence of contacts and you'll see that you're going to fall into business. Same with the event. You have events, weekly, monthly, quarterly, where you're inviting your prospective clients to, you're providing them something, and they're seeing you either directly doing what you do or around what you do, and they are more likely to do business with you. I'll go through these a little more quickly. FSBO and expired, ton of stuff out there. They're a good target market for some, not for others. If you're interested in that, I'm happy to talk to you. But you know, again, there's plenty of free stuff on YouTube to figure out how best to target those people in your markets. Circle, we talked a little bit about it with the promise that figure out where your core clients are, figure out a way to offer value to them, and then work in a geography, a zip code, a market, a neighborhood, whatever that is. The inbound warm lead, this is what everyone likes. This is a response to generally your marketing, social media can be a great way to reach these people. So with other marketing material, that they figure out who you are, what you do, what you can do for them, and they will reach out to you directly. This is the most difficult one because you need to have something to offer them. You need to have either a name recognition, a valuable offer, or somebody ideally doing that on your behalf. But that is that's a way that can always work in the background. Does not need to be that's why it's listed almost the end here. Same with the collaboration. Figure out who in your market would be a good referral partner or an introduction partner, ideally to you. Who do you work with that can speak glowingly about you, can open doors for you? Because there's nothing more powerful than somebody else saying, hey, you need to call Joanne because she is absolutely the best real estate agent in the whole town. You know, you can call somebody and say those same exact things about yourself. No one's going to believe you. But if somebody they know, like, or trust already says that about you, it is incredible how much easier that is to have that conversation and turn that person into a client. Last one here is the investor. Between real estate syndications, real estate investing, there's a humongous boom right now on second homeowners, Airbnb, renting out properties part-time. People, especially with cash, looking for investments, are looking into real estate. So figure out a way to serve that population in your market. Then lastly, the question mark. All of these can work, will work. All of these will not work for everybody. So figure out what works for you and put into place what is your top 3, top 2, top 10, whatever number, and tailor it to your business. That's the key to these things. You can try all of these, but make sure that it makes sense for what you're doing and reaches the core clientele that you're interested in. Just quick highlights. I want to highlight the terms prospecting and marketing. They are often confused, and they are meant to work together. Prospecting, your direct outreach, looking to work with the person that you're contacting. Marketing, information about you that's out there, giving either high level or direct information about what services there are. So they're related, they can work together, but keep in mind that if you're prospecting, it's somebody that you're looking to directly do business with, get an introduction to somebody else. Marketing, background information on you to support those prospecting efforts. It's high level definition, so won't go over that too much detail. But this last strategy that I want to talk about today is the 5 principles that I have based my consulting business on, that I work with every client on. That the top 2 are mission and vision. So we talked about what my 5 values are. You've got now your core values. You want to build out a mission statement, why you do what you do, and your vision, how you deliver. Vision is a soft term. It can be your value proposition, your unique selling proposition, whatever you want to call it. But your mission and vision should be the core of your business. My mission, again, I work with real estate agents one-on-one. We collaborate so you can achieve time, location, and financial freedom from your business. So you can get more of what you want, leads, clients, monthly closings, and less of what you don't want, less stress, fewer headaches, problem solved. That's my mission. That is what I keep my business in mind, front and center every day. And I work with real estate agents who value that as well. My value proposition, my business is a little different than most because I've done different things in real estate. So I've got while it's not unique, a specific perspective when it comes to a lot of things, and I can help agents see things that they might not see because they are deep in their business. So for you, what is your mission statement? Why do you work with your core clients? Are they buyers? Are they sellers? Are they both? So they live in a certain area, they're at a certain price point. And what do you deliver for them that's your level of expertise? What is your 10K consultant story? Tell it over and over and over again. Have a 10-second version, a 30-second version, a 2-minute version, a written version, an audio version, a video version. You can't say it enough. And while it might be repetitive to you, and it might be something you think, well, I'm sure they sell my Facebook post, they're not going to want to see it on Instagram, they're not going to want me to tell it on the phone. Maybe, but a lot of people are going to watch 2 seconds. They're going to read 1 line. So get multiple different ways to get your name out there, have your services speak for themselves, have others speak for it, but have plans to also market them, as we talked about. Next, organizational alignment. This is a big one. There's a lot of good agents that are not in alignment with the brokerages, the teams that they're on. Make sure that you have alignment with the things that you want to accomplish with your real estate business. Again, we're all entrepreneurial here, that your brokerage supports them. The easiest way to think about this is that you are positioning yourself in the market as the number 1 luxury broker or the number 1 luxury agent. Everyone in that luxury price point, whatever it is in your market, should work with you. But your broker is marketing themselves and has advertisements running that they're actually a budget broker. They'll cut costs, cut commissions, that work with anybody. So there's a disconnect with the potential clientele because they're thinking, hey, you work at ABC Realty. I just saw a commercial for ABC Realty that they're looking to do commissions at 2%, but you're a luxury, that doesn't really align with what my expectations are. So make sure your brokerage aligns with what you're doing. They support you with what they offer administratively, marketing wise, what your commission splits are, what your desk fees, whatever you're paying supports the things that you're doing. The last thing to think about there is that, if you've got to call your doctor's office, your insurance company, you call, it's like, hey, give me your date of birth. You give it to somebody, they transfer you. What's your name and date of birth? It's like, I just gave it to somebody. Why are you creating these roadblocks for me to have an appointment, to come in, to whatever? Same thing. You don't want your organization, whether it's your team, your office, your brokerage, putting any roadblocks in for you with your potential clients, that if they want to work with you, that makes it seamless and they support the things that are important to you in your business. So you need to get those 2 things right, or else you're never going to have that consistent monthly revenue. You're always going to be fighting an uphill battle with bringing new clients, servicing the ones that you have, and convincing the ones that did not have a great experience that it wasn't, your fault. It might be I was at the wrong brokerage, or things are different now, or I've learned this. Those are lost opportunities. So make sure you know what you're doing. Make sure you know who your core clients are, and effectively communicate how to serve them. Make sure your brokerage supports you. That's why the red line is there. You have to get these 2 things right, if nothing else, in your business. The other 3 are also very important, but if you can't get those 2 right, these 3 don't matter. Effective ROI, just for sake of time, quickly here, ROI, return on investment. You want to track things like your time and energy and money. Time and money are easy. They're dollar amounts and they are hours in a week. But you want to know where you're putting your energy, where you're seeing your effort being rewarded. You want to see anywhere from 2 to 20x anytime there's dollars out. But that's not as easy to say, well, I spent 6 hours on this. I spent 60 hours here. This was really hard. What am I seeing? So know where you're spending your time, track those things, and then take a look at the return. What can you directly correlate? What is roughly attributable to those efforts? Client experience, we talked a ton about why that's important. But the 3 areas to think about, just say it again here, I think it's coming from the next slide. Lead generation, getting people to know what you do. Lead conversion, they know what you do. You convert them from a lead to a prospect to a client. They've now become a client. How do you fulfill what they're looking for? How do you get them from being a buyer looking at homes to buying a home? You have a seller who signed a listing agreement with you. How do you take them from listing agreement to the closing table? I have all of those things documented. Do it well each and every time, and do it specifically tailored to each client. But you have a system in place that makes that easy. Challenge elimination, that's the 5 steps that we talked about for problem solving, for fixing what's wrong. That I talked about when I went over the beginnings of AccomplishedRE. So for your action, your takeaway for today on this, pick one of these, write for 15 minutes, what it means to you, what it means to your business, ways you can make it better, what your current state is, your future state, how it can improve the things that you're doing, how it can get you to that consistent monthly income. If you don't have a mission statement, or you are struggling with communicating your value to prospective buyers or sellers, start there. If 1 and 2 are good for you, you don't have questions about your brokerage, you know what you're doing, you're constantly doing that. Look at your client experience or your return on time and money, seeing where you're spending it. Use a calendar, block it out, figure out where you could spend more time, less time. You want to simplify the things that you do really well and do it more often. Things that you are most profitable, things that are best for your clients, things your clients want more of. So I mentioned lead generation a few times. This is the first step of that client experience. I heard this week as well. I love these basic 3 steps as far as lead generation, both for marketing and prospecting. Connection. The first step is you need to have a connection with either a prospect that you're talking to or somebody that you're marketing with, or that you're marketing toward. And that connection can be 1 phone call. It can be 100 social media posts. It can be a mailer. It can be an event. It can be a phone call, an email. It can be somebody from your network talking to them. Whatever it takes for that client to feel connected to you, or to feel that there is some connection between your business, your service, and what they need. Next is a value add. So they know who you are. They know what you do. What value can you bring to them? And the biggest mistake that people make in this phase is putting up a gate to that value, saying, oh, well, I need your email address. I need your home phone number. You need to register here, sign up for my newsletter, or, you need to give me something back. And there's an argument for that. I don't think it's a very good one, but if you can provide value with the expectation of nothing back in return, that'll provide that credibility, that trust that, hey, I want to work with this person because I checked out their Instagram feed for 9 months. I reached out to them. They're providing me market updates, or they're providing me a valuation of my home. And I didn't even need to talk to them. They automated that whole process, made it really easy for me. So when I'm ready to sell it, I am going to call them. And the third is that call to action. Now I've provided something of value, that home evaluation. Are you ready to sell? Here's what you can do to get in touch with me. Make it easy. You can contact me. You can contact my brokerage. You can email, text, whatever is. Some people want a face-to-face. Some people don't want to see you if they don't need to talk to you. So figure out what your core client as a group wants, and then that specific client, what can turn them from a lead prospect to a client. So think about in these 3 areas as far as generating business. Once you generate it, how do you convert them? And then once you get them as your client, how do you take them from beginning to end? So we've talked a lot today about strategies and tactics, just wrapping up. For strategies, develop your own core values. If you have them already, refine what they mean, build them into your value statement, build them into your vision, into your 5 principles. These are things that you're going to always be looking to improve on, but these are baselines for today. So have these in place, the 5 principles for sure. Focusing on your mission, who your core clients are, why you can deliver value they can't get anywhere else. This was the 5 steps of the challenge elimination. Situation, what's going on, what's the reason for it, where do you want to go, what's the target, what's the solution or fix in place to get you to that target, and then lastly, the aftermath. What does the current state look like once that solution's in place? Sometimes if it's not the right solution, or we're fixing for the wrong we're putting a fix in for the wrong problem or a symptom of the problem, we've now created a new problem or unintended consequences. That's what that step is there. While it's 1 through 5, and I've got much more on this topic, but this is, you want to go back and you might say, when you get to that after, say, well, I actually didn't solve for the right reason. So I got to figure that part out. So the 3 questions today, hopefully there's something you can put into your business immediately. And it was clear as to how my experience can help you get there, whether it's through this workshop, whether it's a follow-up conversation or anything more. As far as next steps, so what? This is cool, but it's not for me. I know someone who might absolutely fantastic. Please send this to them. They might get something out of it. They might have questions. They might ask you. They might ask me. Please do that. This is cool, but not right now. Sure, if you need me, I'm here whenever you need me. But if it's not right now because I'm too busy, you're always going to be too busy. So not a good enough excuse. If you think that your business can't get any better, this can't help me because my business is great, unfortunately, you're probably right. There's no room for improvement. But even if your business is great and you think it can better, it can't. Because there's always ways to become more effective. And those things that are effective is ways to do them more efficiently. So next steps for me, I have one-on-one engagements, partnerships at my brokerage, as well as paid one-on-one consultations. I have a podcast, a bunch of digital resources, workshops, complimentary stuff. Please check it out on the next slide. At the very least, let's connect. I know people throughout the country, actually in multiple countries now at this point. We can make introductions, referrals, information exchange that can be helpful. So I'm always open to collaborations that make sense. You never know where a conversation can go, so happy to do that. So scan this QR code, check out this link. I really appreciate your time. Thank you for sticking with us. I have not seen any questions come in. I don't see any currently. So I'll leave this up as I close out here. We are right at the 45-minute mark. You've been patient, and I know I've rambled at points. So if anything's unclear, let me know. This link will get to my contact information if you need me. Again, I'm Mike from AccomplishedRE. It was my pleasure to host this, and hopefully it was helpful to you. So thank you, and I look forward to connecting directly to the line. Have a great day, everybody.